Changing Hands Bookstore is a Valley institution, having opened its doors 50 years ago at a little storefront along 5th Street in Tempe. From there, Changing Hands grew to become one of the most impactful independent bookstores in the country. And joining us now is Gail Shanks, co-founder of Changing Hands. Well, it's good to see you again.
It's really nice to see you too, Ted.
And before we get started, I got to tell you, when I was a college student at ASU, I spent so much time at your book downstairs in the youth section. It might as well have been my office down there. I loved it down there.
I know, and you know, you're in such good company, because when we were having our 50th celebration, we had all these people who came in and said, you know, I lived in your basement.
Yes.
Or, you know, you might not have known this, but I would spend hours down there.
Yeah.
And it just made me so happy.
Does it feel like 50 years?
No, it does not feel like 50 years. It's absolutely impossible for me to even believe that it could have been that long. But when I see the third and fourth generation of, you know, our customers, little kids whose parents were like in their mother's womb when they, you know, when they were coming in, it's just, you know, it really, then it makes me think, oh yeah, I guess it could be that many decades.
When you drive by 5th Street, and especially when you drive down Mill Avenue next to Cookies from Home, boy, your bookstore always smelled so good with Cookies from Home next door.
Oh boy.
When you drive by these areas, they've changed so much. But have they changed for you?
Well, I don't like to go down there anymore because it just doesn't have, you know, that community that we tried so hard and did, in fact, build, and it's all gone again. So it's kind of reverted to what it was when we first had this idea of opening up a store in 1974.
What was that idea?
It was just to have a community gathering place in an area that had some historical buildings, that had some ambiance. We wanted a store that people would come into and relax in and think about the world and find great books for themselves and for their children. And that's what we were trying to build. And curiously, I think we did build it.
You did, and it's got some photos here, a bunch of photos of you guys back in the day. And there's that 5th Street thing that a lot of people don't even remember, but that was there.
Yes.
But the big one was, of course, along Mill Avenue, and with the bench outside. My goodness, it brings back so many memories here.
Oh, for me too.
When did you know that this was going to work, and not just work, but work in a big way?
Well, we always dreamed that it would work, and we grew the store organically. You know, we expanded even when we moved from 5th Street to Mill Avenue. We were in just a 1,700 square foot space. We knocked out the wall to the north of us, and then we knocked out the wall to the south of us, which is when you got your basement that you could hang out in. And, you know, it expanded to 5,000 square feet, and we thought, oh, this is it. You know, it's the right size. It's big enough, but not too big. And then the chain stores started rolling into the Valley, and we said, oh, this is a teeny store compared to a Barnes & Noble or a Borders. And so we realized at that point that we had to be something very different, very unique. I mean, we already were, but we knew that that had to be even a bigger deal for us.
And I was going to say, it seemed as though things like cards and trinkets and toys for kids and these sorts of things, especially with the latest location. How long have you been in Guadalupe and McClintock?
Since 1998.
Oh my goodness, it feels like it was yesterday. But it seems like that store put much more of an emphasis on those sorts of things than you did down on Mill Avenue.
Well, truthfully, we could make more profit on gifts than we could make on books. And it's an issue that we've been fighting with the book industry, the publishing world, for, you know, close to 50 years. You know, it's just not possible to just be a bookstore any longer with just books. And so when we added the gifts, it added not only a more profitable space for us, but it also added to that sense of place and ambiance and one-stop shopping. And that's what we really needed people to understand, was they could come to the store, and even if you weren't a big reader, you could buy a gift for your mother for Mother's Day. You could buy, you know, a present for the birthday party on your way, you know, when you're taking your kids on a Saturday morning. You could stop in, get it wrapped, and run out the door.
Yeah.
And that really became part of that experience.
And then you added, with the Phoenix location now, You've got a nice little area there for eating, drinking, and sitting around and doing whatever you want. I mean, you've expanded in that direction as well.
We did. We wanted it to be even more fun and an even bigger experience. So we added the bar. And the bar starts in the morning with serving coffee, and it evolves into lunchtime when someone might come in and have a snack and a beer. And then in the evening, we have happy hour, and then, you can have a glass of wine while you wander around and look at books on the shelves.
Wow.
So it was just this
Yes.
idea of trying out new things and giving, again, our customers an even bigger experience.
Is that why Changing Hands has succeeded when so many independent bookstores have just gone under?
Ted, I think that Changing Hands has succeeded for a variety of reasons. One is that we have a passionate staff of booksellers who love books, read books, love to recommend books, can't wait to talk about them with each other and with our customers. Then what we do is we provide people with this experience that I've been talking about that you can't get when you go online and you click to buy a book. I mean, that is not the experience you have when you walk into the store. The experience you have is that it looks beautiful, it smells beautiful, it sounds beautiful, there's people chatting, you get to meet an author, you get to meet, people who have written the books that you love, and it becomes like an entire experience, one that we hope people want to come back for again and again and again. And they do.
Yes.
And they have been so loyal. It's been unbelievable how loyal our customers have been for these 50 years.
Well, you were a special part of Tempe and the East Valley and then the Valley in general. I mean, you were a very special part. That said, last question, got about a minute left here.
Yeah.
What's your fondest memory of the past 50 years?
Oh gosh, I mean, there are so many memories from that store, with authors, with customers, with our old employees coming back with their kids. They wanted to bring them in and say, this is where mommy worked. But there isn't really one experience.
Yeah.
I think the continuous experience for me is seeing children running into the kids section, running and demanding that their parent read them a book. And as long as that keeps happening, I think our society is going to keep being the kind of place that we want to live in.
Well, continued success. Congratulations on
Oh.
50 years, my goodness. And keep it going, will you?
I promise.
All right.
I
Good to
will.
see you again.
And good to see you too.